What's up, family? It's your boy Bam Bam Bellion. Let's talk about what's up, what's happening, and what's going on. Shouts out to the four corners. Welcome to the What's Going On show, 10 toes on 10 foes.
What's going on? 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 Ooh. What's California? What's California? Ooh, what's going on? You tell me what's going on. What's going on?
Welcome to What's Going On, Watts, where we are taught to survive. And just like the phoenix from our own ashes, we rise. What's happening, family? Thanks for tuning in. We all we got, representing Eastside Watts tenfold.
What's up, family? What's happening? What's the word? Chicken bird. Thanks for tuning in with your boy Bam Bam Bellion. Stand by while we do a systems check real quick. We're gonna make sure everything is coming in like it should be. Yeah, we moving right along, moving right along. All right. Had some technical difficulties, but we up in there now, like where we supposed to be. Giving shouts out to all four corners, man. Thanks for tuning in with your boy Bam Bam Bellion. Want to watch Three Sons. Represent Eastside Ours because the East Side is ours. Continue to stand 10 toes down on them tenfold grounds. Your drum major for justice, because there is no justice for just us. But maybe we getting a little bit of something finally, man. Took a couple of decades, took a few decades, but it looks like Hell A has finally decided to recognize the hard work of the brothers that they've been putting in for the last 30 plus years, going on 40 years, man. 2028 would make it 40 years. 20 years. Oh, 2028 would make it 50 years, man. Since the original work was being put in by the brothers. But without further ado, we're about to get off into it, man, because it's very important that y'all see what just took place at once, man. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. We're gonna bring it to you, though. We're gonna show y'all what's happening right now, dog. So take a quick look at this here. With the good city of LA has decided that they wanted to go ahead and do. So let's take a listen.
important that we acknowledge this. So I'd like to wish everyone a happy ANHPI Heritage Month and offer my sincere congratulations to all of today's honorees. I want our baseball player, Chung Ho, to know my nephew texted in and said, I've seen him play, Auntie, I've seen him play. So as a Dodger, so that's so exciting. Thank you so much. It's always wonderful to celebrate culture in the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you so much, council members Raman Jurado and Mr. Lee to close.
Yeah, so everyone, we would like you to continue the celebration with all of us. Councilman Raman Jurado and I have in the forecourt, starting at noon, little box lunches for you to enjoy. So I hope you can join us there for our celebration. Thank you, everybody, and happy AANHPI month.
Thank you so much. As they're making their way for photos, I'll call on Mr. McOsker and Mr. Price for our next presentation.
Councilman,
Come on up. You got to get in the shot.
come on up, everybody. Come on up.
Come on, everybody.
We're gonna hunker down together, like we live fun. Tight together, man. Look at this. Everybody in, come on in here. Get everybody in here.
Sorry, you all right?
Okay, welcome. Yeah, why don't we come around?
Come on the other side here. Yeah.
Come and pack in here. Oh, that's perfect. It's perfect right here too. Perfect.
Oh, no.
Good morning, colleagues. Today, Councilman McOsker and I are joined by a number of community friends as we celebrate an important day in our city's history. Today, we commemorate the anniversary of the 1992 Crips and Bloods truce. Let's hear it up.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
However, when we talk about public safety in LA, we have to start back.
Too much of a long time coming, ladies and gentlemen. Too much of a long time coming.
Acknowledging where we've been. In April 1992, in the wake of civil unrest following the LA riots, something extraordinary happened in our communities, particularly South LA, starting in Watts and ending at South Park. Rival gangs, long divided by
Starting where? Y'all heard what the man said. Esau Watts, baby.
of violence, came together in what became known as the 1992 gang truce. This agreement was not brokered by City Hall. It wasn't mandated by law enforcement. It came from the streets, from community leaders, from formerly incarcerated individuals, from young people who were simply tired of burying their friends. The truce demonstrated that peace is possible when communities are empowered to lead. It resulted in measurable reduction in violence, particularly among youth, and it created space for dialogue, healing, and investment. But just as importantly, it challenged us as policymakers to rethink our approach and to understand that enforcement alone is not prevention. Fast forward to today, and while LA has made some progress, we still see the legacy of disinvestment, inequality, and trauma playing out in too many of our neighborhoods. In Council District 9, for example, we know these challenges very closely. We also know the resilience and leadership that exists within our communities. The spirit of the 1992 truce lives on in community-based violence intervention efforts, credible manager programs, and youth development initiatives. My district has been in the forefront of this work, supporting grassroots organizations, investing in prevention, and creating opportunities for young people. We recognize that public safety is not just about policing, it's about housing, jobs, education, and dignity. The same conditions that led to the need for a truce in 1992, poverty, lack of opportunity, systemic inequities, are conditions that we must continue to address today. Through initiatives aligned with the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program, we've supported intervention workers, we've expanded youth programming, we've prioritized resources where they are needed most. We've also worked to maintain and strengthen community policing, building trust between residents and the LA Police Department, because trust is the foundation of effective public policy. Our approach recognizes that enforcement must be balanced with opportunity, and accountability must be paired with investment. The 1992 gang truce teaches us that solutions don't just come from institutions, they come from people. It reminds us that those closest to the problem are the ones closest to the solutions. And it underscores the importance of sustained investment, not just in moments of crisis, but also over the long term. So today, as we reflect on the legacy of the 1992 gang truce, let's recommit ourselves to the comprehensive vision of public safety, one that uplifts community voices, invests in prevention, and addresses root causes. Let's continue building a LA where every young person, especially in communities like Council Districts 8, 9, 10, and 15, has a pathway to opportunity and not a pipeline to incarceration. Because at the end of the day, the goal is not just to reduce violence, but to create peace. And peace is what we saw in 1992. It's something we can build together. Now I'd like to invite my colleague, Councilman McCosker from the 1-5, to share a few words. Councilman?
I get to go stand next to Big Mama. First of all, thank you very much, Councilmember Price, for allowing me to be part of this presentation. And Council President, thank you for allowing me to be part of this presentation. But I think it's really important for me to thank the community for allowing me to be part of this acknowledgement. So for some of us who have been around Los Angeles for a long time, it is hard to imagine what it was like in the early 90s. It was rough. It was dangerous. And I say that as someone who wasn't living in the community of Watts, but in the community of Los Angeles. And it is hard to describe how far we have come. It's easy to describe how far we need to still go, but it's hard to describe how far we've come. And just think of this, 1992, crime was high. We were shooting each other. We were losing our babies, right? And some folks, Anthony Perry, Daoud Sherrills, probably others, went to the library at USC and actually pulled the 1934 Israeli-Egypt armistice agreement and said, this is going to be a framework for us. And I say that to say, this is not some unsophisticated thing that some Crips and Bloods came together and said, let's sign this and let's be at peace, which would have been great. But this is a very sophisticated, well thought out, well planned, and dangerous activity. We cannot know how much
more dangerous than you know. Extremely. Like my boy 6'4" said about Twilight when he passed away, this was not a simple thing to do, especially going all the way back to the late 80s, early 90s.
Risk people put on themselves by being brave enough to step forward and say, we will risk our lives, literally, we will risk our lives to protect, to save lives in the future. And they signed this historic 92 agreement on April 28th, 1992. And unlike other armistices in the world and peace agreements, it has stuck. It has stuck because of the work day in and day out that followed. It is important for us to say today, we have a sophisticated grid and intervention and peacekeepers. And we have a system where the public is in their own public safety because of the foresight of the women and men who stepped forward and said, we are going to do this in 1992. I could not be more grateful as the councilman of my beloved Watts and my North Gateway and my whole community, because this spirit has spread through the whole 1-5, right, with the work being done in the harbor, as well as the work being done in Watts and the work being done across South LA. I could not be more grateful for the lives that we don't even know have been saved, for the violence that we don't even know has been avoided, but we know it's a safer place. As I walk around Watts, as I spend time with my beloved community. Before I call, I'm going to call a couple speakers, but I think it's really important I go off script and say, we need to acknowledge that a lot of women really stretched out and did a lot of work on this. And we have Dr. Cynthia Mendenhall is with us today. We have Miss Wajia.
Yes, Mama.
Yeah, sister, my girl, sister.
And there's probably too many people to call out, but I do want to remember the memory of Miss Betty Day.
Wajia.
Betty Day.
And Kathy.
And Kathy. Oh, God bless Kathy. Kathy Wooden, who we just lost. Kathy Wooden, who we just lost. So many individuals, too many to call out, but I do want at this moment to have a couple of speakers who were there. You can hear from me, I'm just talking about history.
Yeah.
But people that live this history, I want to call out first my dear friend, Daoud Sharils. Daoud, can you come forward?
My big brother right there, man.
Daoud.
Yes. For this brother right here, all day for this brother right here, man. This dude is a solid dude. This dude is a solid dude on everything. Him and his brother Akila, man. I grew up under these dudes and my teachers, man.
All right. You know, I don't write speeches, but I have to write one today because this is just a great day for us in the community and the work that we're doing. So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the mayor of our great city of Los Angeles, Karen Bass.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank the members of the city council, the residents of Watts and South Los Angeles, the authors of peace, the authors of peace that the world said was impossible. I stand here to accept this official recognition of the 1992 Watts Gang Truce as a movement that proved we are the solution to our own struggles.
Right. Say it.
Yeah.
This truce was the combination of years of dedicated work. July of 1988, Twilight Bay and a Crip nicknamed 12 clasped hands in a historical handshake, proving that the other side was a brother in different color.
That is absolutely right, man. Many, many years ago, man. My brother in Big 12, man. There they go right there. They did that, man. Both of these brothers arrested now. Peace be upon them both, man, because they made history. 34 years later. Recognition coming 34 years later.
October 1989, the Stop the Killing event led by the Nation of Islam Minister Louis Farrakhan at the Los Angeles Sports Arena galvanized Bloods and Crips to sit down and discuss ending the cycle of death. The voices of the movement, Stevie Wonder, KGLH, during those historical days during the riots, in the volatile during the riots, we didn't just need a leader on the ground, we needed a voice on the airwave. Stevie Wonder used his radio station, 102.3, standing for kindness, joy, love, and happiness as a beacon for the community, as I would spread it, using that platform.
102.3 KJLH. Located right there on La Brea and Regent, right there by the Club Eclipse. They switched it up and called it something else. But yeah, man. Shouts out to Stevie Wonder for that.
During the truce, during the riots, where Tony Bogart, myself, Ty Stick, and Malik Spellman was able to use that station effectively in bringing people together and spreading the peace. When the city erupted, KTLA stopped the music and opened the phone lines. They gave us a platform to vent, to cry, and to coordinate peace when the rest of the media only wanted to show the fire. In the aftermath of the treaties, KTLH even launched a pilot show hosted by 3 former rival gang members, allowing architects of the truce to speak directly to the people. Stevie committed to Radio Free LA, ensured that the message of the truce reached every car and every home in South Central. By April of 1992, these efforts grew into a formal declaration of a ceasefire among Grace Street Crips, PJ Watt Crips, Bonnie Hunter Bloods, and Hacienda Village. This movement.
If out the Circles, man, Circle City Power Rule. Shouts out to the Circles. My brother Twilight was from Circle City Power Rule.
Modeled after the 1949 Egypt-Israel Armistice Agreement, authored by our own Dr. Ralph Bunche, showing that local conflicts requires the same sophisticated diplomatic excellence as international wars. The impact, real lives. The results of internal ownership was undeniable. A 44% decrease in gang-related violence in Watts within the first 2 years. When the 1992 riots began, just days after the signing, the truce held firm. Not a single death during that uprising was attributed to gang rivalry.
Not one single death, bro. We brought gang violence to a complete standstill in LA, man. Little bitty Watts did that, man. Watts did that 34 years ago, man. Just had the anniversary, man. They do it. My boy Daoud put on the anniversary celebration every year in April, man. And like I said in the post, man, every OG from Watts supposed to come down to Watts for that. No matter where you living at in the world, man. We should all show up in Watts to celebrate what we did. That was one of the best things done, one of the best movements done by young black people in America in the last 40 fucking years, dog.
The significance, putting the public back in public safety. The greatest legacy of this movement is that it's put the public back in public safety.
Power. Yeah.
It proves that true security is built from within, rooted in the relationships and shared accountability, rather than force imposed from the outside. I'd like to say gratitude and honoring some of the peacemakers. I accept this honor on the behalf of the pioneers, Dwayne Holmes, his mother, Teresa Allison Holmes, founders of Mother Rock, Anthony Perry, Willie Freeman, Sherrills, Twilight Bay, Tony Bogart, Jim Brown, Imam Mujahid Karim.
That's right, man. Twilight Bay, dog. All day for Twilight Bay, dog.
To the moon and the sky above.
Real talk, dog.
Kareem, T. Rogers, Mustafa from Unity 2, Bo Taylor from Unity 1, and William Aceves, who have documented this history from a professional standpoint of view and showing the impact not just in Watts but throughout throughout the world. Really, it had a tremendous amount of impact. Let this day serve as a reminder: your community is not a problem to be solved. It is the solution. It is the solution itself, and that's a Watts up.
Thank you so much, Daoud.
Shouts out to Big Daoud, man. Well said, brother. Well said. I wish I could have been there with my boys, man, with my family. I wish I could have been there.
So the movement takes many forms, and one of the other great innovations of our beloved South LA, and particularly of my beloved Watts, is the Watts Gang Task Force. It formed from this same sentiment of there's no reason to take the public out of public safety, and we are the solution. And I'm really, really honored to have a dear friend, the president of the Watts Gang Task Force, Donnie Jobert.
Big Donnie. Donnie and
First, let's give honor to God.
That's right. All praise to those are God.
Because none of this would have happened without God getting behind us.
Nothing.
And I'm honored to be here today because it's about time that we recognize how hard this work.
Shouts out to Big Donnie, man, and the Watts Gang Task Force. They really do try their best to put in that work, especially right in the hood, man. They do a lot of good shit, man. If y'all don't know what's up, you need to learn what's up. Come to these meetings, man. They meet on Zoom. Come up in the meetings, man, and express your feelings and your frustrations, man. And more importantly, if you got critique, don't come in there with no critiquing you if you ain't got no solutions, brother. We're about social solutions around this piece.
Really is. Folks don't know that. But what I am proud to say, that was 1992. What years it is now? We are still doing the same thing that we was doing back then, 7 days a week right now. See, it matters to us about the young people, the young babies that's growing up in these communities. They need the same opportunity that anybody else. And that's why I'm proud to stand on the side of all these folks that's standing here. My partner, Hank, raise your hand, brother. He was actually one of the guys that signed the peace treaty. Yeah. And
shouts out to Big Hank, man. Big quiet Hank. Never got nothing to say, man. Shouts out to Big Hank. You know you my dog, big dog.
And Daoud, Keela, all these brothers, man, low down all us, man. We understood one thing. We're not going backwards. Right. We have to go forward. And we made a stand just as well to our community. It was hard, you guys. It was rough. You're dealing with communities that struggled for many, many years and felt like they was always left out. But we decided that we was going to come together. We're going to stop the homicides that's taking place in our community. But now we relies on you guys now to put the funding where it need to be when you talk about safety. That's right. When you're talking about saving our babies and saving our seniors in our community now can walk to the stores, they can walk up and down the streets. They're not afraid no more. They're not afraid of hearing gunshots and bullets and things flying over. And yes, we still losing young people today. So what do we do? What do we do to support what's happening within this community? Let's put the funding where it really need to be. You got the boots on the ground, you got the foot soldiers, and let me tell you something, there's some wars going on right now. They cannot stop. But look what we did. Yep. Look what we was able to do within our community. And so Tony Muhammad, the brother that really stayed on us based on coming in our community, he will have a one-on-one or two-on-two with us, but we always had serious conversations. Right. And then he marched with us through all these communities to show that the love that we have for each other. So I'm excited to be standing here again. I thank God for giving us an opportunity. But listen, when you talk about Tim McCosker, the mayor, and all these folks now that's understanding this work is for real, we take our hat off to you guys because you believe in us, you trust us, and give us an opportunity. And what this movement have done, it went city to city. It's still happening city to city. We got brothers like Keeler's traveling around different parts of cities, showing them the work that we doing here. Huge.
Yeah, shouts out to Akila, man. He all over the place, man. Real talk.
And so I'm excited today. Thank you guys for really seeing what we went through growing up in the community. And I grew up in Nickerson Garden. I'm proud of saying I grew up in Nickerson Garden Project. Right. You understand? I'm proud of that. And that's the same way. Yes. And
yeah, shouts out to all four corners, Big Nick, JD's, PJs, and the Hossies, man. Big shouts out to the JD's, man. Jordan Downs opened up their doors and opened up their arms for this thing. Everybody that first came to the very first collection of Bloods and Crips in Watts, everybody went to the JD's first. That's who opened up. That's the neighborhood that invited everybody down first. Everybody met up there. We got surrounded by the National Guard and about 6 helicopters in the sky. Shouts out to the JDs for that, man. But hey, everybody opened their doors. The Hussies opened theirs, the Nickersons opened theirs, so did the PJs, man. The PJs had the biggest parties on me.
And we have to give it for Janice Hines just as well. That's how we formed the Watts Gang Task Force. You know, we had some issues taking place in our community, and we were wondering why folks wasn't listening or hearing it. It wasn't on the news. You never heard about it. But Janet was able to help us form the Watts Gang Task Force. And they talked about the ladies just earlier, but Betty Day, Commissioner Hooper, Miss Clark, Noreen Clinton, Sister Mendenhall, these was our foot soldier women that was with us back to back whenever we had issues in our community. So thank y'all so much. But remember this once we leave here, and we experienced this many times. And they used to always tell us that we'll go into a room, we try to ask for resources, we try to ask to give us some support, and then when we walk out the door, they take our papers and throw them in the trash can. But don't do this today. What I'm saying now, help us. Continue to help our communities and your community just as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie. You know, we really appreciate the collaborative approach that's reflected in this gang truce. We know our faith-based community was very, very important. With us today, several members of that community we're happy to bring to the podium. Dr. Shep Crawford, no stranger in the pulpit or in the community. Experience Christian Ministries. Pastor Shep.
Thank you, Councilman, and thank you for having us here, to the President and to all the council members. Thank you for having us here. I want to shout out Kenny Green and Perry and Andre for helping really bring this together and showing us the way of how to make sure we connect. In 1992, I was at my mama's house watching TV, and when the verdict came through, I was angry, not frustrated. Angry. And I got in my car with my brother, my Celica, and I drove down the street and I could feel the heat hit my cheek like if I was at a barbecue standing too close to the grill. And even though the city was on fire, the truth of the matter is it was just a representation of the fire that was happening inside of us. We were mad and I was angry. I had never been that angry in my life. But then when I watched TV again, something happened with my anger. Something phenomenal happened. I saw two men with different rags, tie the rags together and hold it. And my anger turned to hope. And I understood then.
Oh, me, dog. When we was in the JDs and when the National Guard pulled in and all that, surrounded us. Imagine, man, we were surrounded by an army, right? I know these wasn't police officers. These were soldiers. These people, these dudes have different rights to kill, to delete or unalive than police officers do. And not one brother, the Spirit of God was with us, man, because not one brother, not one cat that was out there, as wild and as crazy as we were. This was the 90s, man, and hoods had a whole lot more positive control over the YGs than what they got now. Not one dude provoked them devils. They start tying them rags together. That's what they did. Low-key provoked them. But eventually they just got on. And somebody turned on some music, man, and the rest is history.
And that there is a way that LA could rise out of all the ashes that we have been experiencing.
Yeah.
It is easy when you look at the Rodney King verdict and that entire weekend or that entire week, it's easy for us to continue to talk about the verdict, to talk about the riots, to talk about the burning, to talk about Reginald Denny. That's what we hear on the news stations. That's what we hear people talk about. But nobody, or rarely is it talked about, of the thing that happened from that pain. I don't want to disregard the pain, but the biggest story is that these brothers, backed by some strong sisters, walked into the opposing neighborhood, not to take a life, but to save a life. Right. Yeah. And they said, enough is enough. They risked their lives. They left their families to make sure that that can happen. And that is the biggest story of the 1992 movement. And I'm so glad that we're able to bring that story alive even today. The Bible lets us know in John 16 that if a woman goes into labor, she feels pain. But when the baby is born, she don't reflect on the pain anymore. She reflects on the birth of the baby, and that is her joy. I want you to be able to acknowledge the riot. I want you to be able to acknowledge the burning, but that was the pain. The baby was born out of that pain. Yeah. And I want to make sure we reflect on the kings and queens that is standing right behind us. And so I thank you, and I thank you, because we wouldn't be here today. And I'm not talking about in these chambers. I'm talking about in these communities, able to play with our children if it had not been for the bravery standing right here with us. Amen? Amen. Amen. At this time, as you know, that this was birthed in Watts, and it spilled over into South Park and South Central, and a lot of the east side of Los Angeles, where a lot of the peace is still moving. So two speakers that I want to bring at this time. This is a leader who don't like to speak, but I'm forcing him to this mic with the Holy Spirit, Brother Leon Gillette. Let's show him some love as he comes.
Stop the presses.
We gonna
Come on, Leon. I've never seen this in 30 years.
I'm more of a doer than a speaker. So I like to be on the doing side and stuff, but I don't like bragging about the stuff that we've done and all that kind of stuff. I like to just make stuff happen. My role in this was that not being a gang member, right, but being a street person. Watching Bull walk into our neighborhood and create the peace, right? You know, we from the housing projects, the Pueblo, so it's kind of the biggest on that east side. So he went and got Crips and Bloods, and he talked them all into it, and they was all agreements. And we on the streets doing the stuff that we wasn't supposed to be doing. And he walks up with guys we know and guys we didn't know, and it kind of shook us up to where we started pulling out weapons and stuff and all kind of stuff to kind of see what was going on. And what he was bringing to us is what he was involved in Watts with. He said they told me to go down to my end and create peace on his end, right? And he walked into our community. And he was able to convince us to come over to South Park and see what was going on. We went to South Park, and it was kind of the best thing that ever happened in my life to see all these folks come together. My role in it is that I was kind of a hustler. And so I wasn't banging. I knew everybody. I knew all the Crips, and I knew all the Bloods. So when I got in it, my thing was to kind of pull folks together to where this thing lasts, right? To say, if I don't have you two have a conversation, the whole thing is going to be blown up, right? And so my thing was to always keep it right and bring the resources to it and let the fellas enjoy each other and get to know each other for real. And we haven't had any real any real gang wars in a good while, right? Going from back in those days when it was like about 1,600 homicides a year to us saying it's only 266 homicides this year. And we still working, but that's big, right? For us to be able to reduce it down from thousands to minimum hundreds. And so that was the role.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to make sure that that we recognize who we've been calling Bull. I'm glad that he's here and his family is able to see this legend. I want to bring him to the mic at this time because as you hear, yes. Yes.
Come on, boy. Sneaking out my house. Come on. Stopping off.
Sister Nora, it's crazy.
This violent. Let's go.
All right.
Paul.
Honor the Spirit of Christ. And Pastor Shep, this is my pastor.
Yeah.
I attend the church, and greater that Pastor Isaiah is also here. Give honor to him and all other ministers on the roster. My brother, Minister Tony Muhammad, my other brothers in the family, my wife and my children.
Amen.
All right.
And your sister standing here. Amen.
We have a lot, and she's absolutely right. This is my sister. A lot of people don't know, coming from that end where, and I want this to be known to all of Los Angeles. I have never, ever not mentioned, came in nobody's vineyard where I did not mention the Watts body.
Yeah.
Because the Watts body is just as important to me than just about anything we ever done in this, because those guys that night, it was courageous. You couldn't even begin to think how much danger was really in the air, and because Dwayne Holmes, he's not here, and you was there, but when Dwayne came into the Imperial Court projects, I stayed in the Imperial Court projects at that time, and he was walking real fast, but all the Nickerson Gardens was with him. All the Grape Streets, Jordan Down projects was with him. I said everybody. You couldn't even see a blade of grass in the projects in the Imperial Courts. Every step that was taken as it was getting closer to us, everything was disappearing. You couldn't see the gym. It's just bodies, thousands of people, and
Man, we was so deep, dog. We was so deep. Shouts out to Cam, man. Shouts out to West Coast Cam, the Peace Treaty anthem, dog. Y'all ever seen that video? Go watch it.
He had walked up to me. I was standing there with Tony Bogart. He knew he was over my house. And when he got there, he said, "Bull, I need you." I said, "What's happening? What's this?" He like, "You don't have a dog in the fight. You not from Watts. Mediate for us." He said, "Tony, respect you." And I said, but I didn't have no choice. So I went in with it, but
In your house.
in my house, this sister was very instrumental. I don't know if a lot of people know, out of the Imperial Courts, Sister Soldier.
And my girl sister.
A lot of people didn't understand that
Mama.
you talking about a great woman, and there are many, many great women. My wife is one.
You ain't gonna sleep on the couch.
She was doing something that a lot of people didn't know about. She was taking a back seat.
Yes.
Out in the opening.
Yes.
Out in the public. But behind closed doors, she was running a whole lot of men in the Imperial Courts. And they took everything what she said to heart a lot, and they acted it out a lot.
One thing I can always say about sister though, man, the brother's right. When the time comes, she want the men to be the ones standing out front. She an old school sister, old school black woman that believe in supporting her men. Don't got that no more. She's a real helpmeet. You know, she, like he said, behind closed doors, she was, man, sister, one of the main colonels, lieutenants, generals, whatever you want to call it, who will be speaking on that reel and saying the right things. But when the cameras was on and everybody sitting there, she wanted the men to be the ones in front. Shouts out to sister, man. Love her to death, love her to life.
A lot of those instructions about doing peace came from her. And the only reason why I'm rambling on about this, because I'm really ready to cut it off, because my emotions is really getting the best of me.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm rambling about but I'm gonna cut it off, but I cannot. When the other brother was going forth, I was.
All right.
I was wiping my tears. I think now I'm gonna let them fall because we lost so much.
Yes, sir. That was a lot of good people, man. Real.
I don't want to say we started too late. We started, and we still getting it done, and we still pushing. We still in places that a lot of people don't want to go. That a lot of people don't want to be there to help nobody, but we still go. People say it ain't in your best interest to be over there. My favorite word has always been, greater is he that is in me than he that is in this world. We got to go, because if we don't, we're going to regret something. We didn't start to stop. Right. We never did. If anybody don't know, and I know I can speak for every person up here under this, and people that's not here that is under the sound of my voice, and I thank God for every last one of them. Because when we said, come on, they was willing servants. And I thank God for them. I thank God for all these brothers and sisters. I love you all. I love my community. South Park, East Side, never die.
Wait, don't do that. Yeah. Okay, listen, there was one person that we left out when it come down to Watts, because as you know, Watts is a community itself. And so we want to make sure that we represent Darren at this time so he can come and speak. Yes. Come on. Yes, RP. Yes.
Hey. Glad to be here. Thank you guys for acknowledging us at this time.
Parker.
I'm standing here with some beautiful people on all sides. I'm talking about all sides of the tracks, all sides of the walks of life. These are some wonderful, beautiful people that I was able to be involved with on this situation, and I was glad to be a part of it. You know, I actually volunteered for once in my life for something that I would never forget in my life. You know, how much it means to me. You know, I volunteered, and very, very.
All right, you got it, P?
You know, I put everything on the line, you know, because this was a very touchy situation, you know, that you just couldn't play with. You know, if you was with it, you had to be with it. Or you wasn't with it, you just wasn't with it. You know, and I was there, and it took a great deal of courage and honor, you know, to do it. You know, I'm a person that wasn't really into the gang banging, but I lived around it enough to know what I didn't like and knew that it wasn't cool, you know, for the future of the community, the kids coming up, because I always had, you know, people talk to me as a person that they can, you know, kind of get some understanding from, you know, about life, you know, living in the environment, you know, and I didn't try to separate myself just because I didn't want to be known as a gangbanger. I just didn't want to associate myself with it because I wasn't one. But at the same time, you know, I'm living in the environment, so we're a product of our environment. We're around this stuff, and it affects us in different ways. So it affected me in a different way, but it also affected me in a great way that I can be a tool, an instrument, you know, to teach other people, you know, like the younger generation, because they looked up to me and they love, you know, the knowledge and wisdom that I was shooting out, and I wasn't feeding them no, you know what I mean? Mess. Yeah, you know, a greater word to use, mess. You know, and so they believed in, you know, the message, and so I'm just glad that, you know, we're able to be here in honor of that. And
Now, just before we give it right back over to the council member, I'm a Christian, but my Muslim big brother is here, our community leader, if you will, somebody who has really, really been there for me and been here for this movement. And we definitely want to give some time for Minister Abdul Malik Muhammad, known to us as Minister Tony.
Thank you.
Brother Tony,
in the
man.
name of Almighty God, the beneficent, the merciful,
Tony Muhammad Surreal.
we give praise and thanks to the oneness
Day
of
one.
that
Day
great
one.
God. To the great Abrahamic prophets, Abraham,
I see him back
Moses,
there.
Jesus,
Farrakhan.
and Muhammad.
Tony's standing right there, Farrakhan right there. My boy Stutterbox on the Pebbles. There's my brother Twilight, peace be upon him, standing right behind Stutterbox, right in front of Steve Harvey.
If they was here today, they would be standing with this group of soldiers. But I have to thank God for intervening in our affairs in the person of Master Father Muhammad, thanking him for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and my teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who sent me here on a special mission. Over 30 years ago, he ordered me. He said, don't let me catch you in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Go and win the streets, brother, and work with those street soldiers who have started something that the world would bow to. I want to just say a few words on what you're looking at from a divinity standpoint. I thank God that in the Bible, he said these words, can any good come out of Nazareth? Nazareth 2,000 years ago would reflect Watts.
That's right.
You better know it.
He also said he would take those who are last and make them first, and take the bottom rail and raise it to the top. This is what you're witnessing here in Los Angeles, that these men and women have put their lives on the line. And if there was an algorithm system, 34 years, I've witnessed these men and women in meetings, meeting with conflicts where guns would be drawn. Some of them have been wounded trying to solve peace. To me, they are the greatest peacemakers on the planet, this group. And they should be recognized throughout this world. I close with a few sayings in the Holy Quran. Where God says, I have made you into tribes and families that you may know one another so that you won't despise each other. Then he says in the Holy Quran, when you was on the brink of the pit of fire, I united your hearts. I want to thank the mayor of this city, Karen Bass, and to you, the president of the city council, to city councilman Curran Price, to city councilman McClusker. Thank you all. We'll take this day when we've seen others get a month. We'll start with a day. But I also say to you, do all you can to fund and to put resources behind these groups. What is a black and brown life worth? 34 years, they have saved tens of thousands of lives. Right. And now, from what they've done, New York reach out to them. Philadelphia is reaching out to them. Chicago is reaching out to this group of people to help them with their problem. I was just in the South. Even the country, people on gangbanging on tractors is reaching out for this group. So thank you, City Council, but do your best to do more. Peace.
Pastor Tony, Pastor Shep, thank you for those words. And
my God, man. Man, what can I say? What can I say? We had some good brothers, man. Did some good work, man. Peace be up on Twilight. Brother 12, man. Shouts out to everybody that was able to be present at this historical event where they recognize the hard work we put in, man. I was a part of this movement at 12 years old, man. The minute I seen my brother shake that brother's hand on live television, and I knew how hardcore my brother was with that gangbanging stuff, man. It just changed me overnight, man. Shouts out to my boy Ellie. Shouts out to Big Daoud. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to all the Bloods and Crips who sincerely, they all into this, man. Cartoon from Fruit Town. T. Rogers, you know what I'm saying? Peace be upon him. My boy, Big Snipe out of Imperial Court. You see him in the picture here with me and with Brother Daoud. We all with my boy, my OG, big brother Al Collins, AC. Shouts out to Big 6'4" out of the Hunters, man. Shouts out to 6'4", man. I don't know how instrumental that brother has been with maintaining peace and maintaining some type of dialogue. These brothers are diplomats, man. These brothers are country negotiators, man. Shouts out to Khaled Shaw. Stop the violence, man. My brothers, man. And my brother, man, my teacher, my OG teacher, T. Rogers, man. On everything, dude. These are the brothers that put in that work. I said, peace be upon my brother Twilight, man. Shouts out to Stutter. Shouts out to Tony Muhammad. Shouts out to the minister, man. Like he said, it's LA Sports Arena. I was there that day when all the Crips and Bloods came there to hear Farrakhan speak, man. And the lanes was so deep up in that piece, man. But man, how did we end up not holding on to it as firmly as we should have? A little thing called counterintelligence, man. You know what I mean? That's what happened to the peace treaty. That's what happened to the gang truce, man. Shouts out to Lowdown, dog. My big brother, man, LD. Out there putting that work in, man. Watts Life Car Club, man, doing them cookouts every year and feeding homeless people and feeding kids on their way to school. Man, we got some good folks, man, but y'all got to understand what was done to Watts, man. After that 1965 riots, Watts was hanged, drawn, and quartered. Had all of its major limbs chopped off. Turned into places like Willowbrook and the Florence district, and the land was they did to Watts what was done to Carthage, man. I like to say Watts is the Carthage of America. They don't want nothing to ever grow there, man. But that peace treaty still came out of there, man. Big shouts out, super shouts out to Jim Brown, man. Jim Brown was the top celebrity to not only get behind the peace treaty and behind these Crips and Bloods, but he didn't just get behind them, man. He put resources behind them. Let us come up to his house, man, up in the Hollywood Hills. We all up there, man. Shouts out to my boy Calico out of the Anthons, too, man. Real instrumental dude right there, too. But yo, man, shouts out to my boy Willie Broham out of the Lanes. I know some G dudes, man. They got good hearts, man. Just was caught up in a life that we thought we had to live. But man, peace be upon Jim Brown, and may the Most High be pleased with him and my brother Twilight, man. Because I believe these dudes were really sincere. I believe all those men that used to be at Jim Brown House meeting were sincere. Peace be upon my boy Hightower out of Jordan Downs, man. Shouts out to Ray. Shouts out to Ziggy. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Dice. Shouts out to Chopper. You know what I'm saying? On everything, man. I remember all these names because I was a little boy. I was like 16, 17, going up to Jim Brown House, man, DJing parties. But I got to see these dudes put that hard work in, man, and I couldn't be more proud. But yo, man, thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all sliding by and hanging out with your boy. You know what I mean? We do the best we can with what we got, don't we? We truly do, don't we? But hey, love y'all to death, love y'all to life, man. Thanks for hanging out with your boy, man. Until the next time, love y'all to death, love y'all to life. Thanks for tuning in with your boy Bam Bam Belly Young. One of Watt's favorite sons, represent the East Side, ours, because the East Side is ours. Had to do a whole hour on this show, man, because it was that important to me. Yo, we gonna keep putting this information, this content out. Like, subscribe, share, get it out there, man. Connect it to all the other folks, man. We're gonna make sure that we link the videos, other videos we did like this, to this video, so you can look at some of the other footage on the peace treaty, man, and the work we did, man. But when they want to kill something off, man, they really kill it off. And this United States of Amnesia, man. They brought the Black Panther movement to an end. They brought the peace treaty movement. They thought they brought it to an end. It still has a pulse. And man, they did a hell of a job, man. We received a fatal wound. But it's healing, because God is still God. You understand? And all of this has been nothing but a system set up to return the Most High's chosen to Him, to His laws, His statutes, and commandments. That's how I see it. But yeah, man, till the next time, love y'all to death, love y'all to life. Whether it be here or in the kingdom, we gonna see each other again, man. Giving all praises to the Most High God for the opportunity and the chance, man. Until next time, y'all stay up, man. We'll be back up in here Thursday, dog. Offer to some other information, man. I just did this show on this because, like I said, it's close and dear to my heart, man. But we got more information coming, bro. We got some, we're gonna start doing these speedboats type of little shows, man. And yeah. Just like real fast, strong information. Can't wait to get y'all off into that. See y'all all soon, man. Love y'all to death, love y'all to life, man. Eastside Watch, 10 foes, 10 toes.
Where we are taught to survive. And just like the phoenix from our own ashes, we rise. What's happening, family? Thanks for tuning in. We all we got, representing Eastside Watts tenfold.